For me, I'm curious with solutions, right? Some say, well, this is going to keep happening. It's never going to stop. It's been going on for hundreds of years, couple thousand years. It's going to be ongoing for another couple thousand years. Perfect. Okay, fine. So that's one argument. Now, for the people that maybe are solution-oriented and they want to figure out a way to, improve things. You said '06, Hamas gets elected because, what it was, but today it wouldn't happen. Today, if they do have an election, who controls the election? Because you were a little bit not elusive. You were not clear about why they're not having fair elections today. Who controls the elections?
I wish Hamas is not in charge of. I wish the whole thing about the Islamization, Judaism of this conflict is not there, because that is making everything worse.
So how do you get
the
rid
whole
of
idea
Hamas?
about like putting so much religion on the Israeli side and on the Muslim side? It has actually it is the reason why this conflict is getting worse and worse and worse. It's because now people are like kind of like rooting for the divine, and whenever you put religion in any conflict, this is going to get worse and worse. So the thing is, there is a problem, a fundamental problem for the rights of the Palestinians in the land of Palestine. Now, whether you create a Palestinian nation on the 22% after using, like Jimmy Carter once said, it would have to have like a two-state solution using Gaza, using the borders of 1967 with modification and land swap. That is what the Palestinian Authority are actually accepting. Hamas does not accept that. And there's other people who does not accept that. And at the same time, people on the Israeli side does not accept that. You have radical people on both sides who want all or none, and kind of fairly moderate people who want to stay in the middle and say, all right, let's have a little bit of a swap. But what is happening right now is the two-state solution is being shot and dead a long time ago. Because even if Benjamin Netanyahu, when he came out and he bragged about how he have spoiled the Oslo Accord and how Americans don't care and we have manipulated them and 80% of America are with us so we can do whatever the hell we want, even if we can kill as many Palestinians as possible. And he was there on camera. When he does that and there's no repercussions, I don't think it's going to get any better. And I think it's going to be a matter of time until those Palestinians will be, if it's not today, it's not this year, it's the year after, all of this Gaza will be cleared out and the Palestinians will be pushed into Sinai and Israel will take it over. And it will not stop like that, because if you put 2.2 million people, put them in Sinai, that will be a security threat, because those people will have an open access to the sea and they will have weapons, and then they will want to avenge what happened to them and they will go in and attack Israel. And now it's going to have a dual problem between a group of people, between Israel and Egypt, and that will not get any better. So I'm just like telling you, I'm not very optimistic about what will happen, because if you don't have justice and you don't have people what they want, they are just like people are going to get justice in themselves. And then they will be called militant terrorists, freedom fighters, no matter how you call them. But it's not going well.
So regarding Gaza, and I'm trying to come from a solution-based approach here, to be honest. At the end of the day, everything comes down to money or security. You need that? Everything comes down to money or security. So
You just got to pull your shirt up.
hold on.
Oh, what's going on?
It's a heater pad.
He's got a bad back. Let's get his back right before I ask this question. Hook up the shirt.
That's how we played. Massages. We got a masseuse coming in the house.
Well, thank you guys, because I'm really in pain. I can't even.
Well, you've been traveling for how many days?
We have what is called unreasonable hospitality here.
Yeah, Pat doesn't play.
While we're having a friendly debate, we're going to make sure that your back's
All right, so
Okay, go ahead. Solution for Gaza.
Yeah, well,
go
look,
for it.
Yeah.
Israel wants security, and Gaza, many countries in the Middle East need and want prosperity. Okay? Israel's whole thing, their whole contention is, listen, we just can't have another October 7th, period. And we're going to do everything to protect our citizens. The people in Gaza, they're no different than other people in the Middle East. They want prosperity. The problem in the Middle East, in my opinion, my humble opinion, it's not just an Islamic issue. It's certainly not just an Israeli issue, because by the way, it is an Iranian issue. That's the tip of the spear when it comes to the mafia-like regime that's running Iran over there. But it's socioeconomic. People need economic improvements. People need political certainty. And when you combine that with Islamic fundamentalism, you sprinkle in a little jihad, throw in a little anti-Zionism and rhetoric, you'll get what's going on in Gaza. But look at the countries that are thriving in the Middle East, and look at the countries that are basically the Gazas of the Middle East. Unemployment rates. People need jobs, okay? If kids don't have jobs, if youth unemployment is skyrocketing, what are these young people supposed to do? The highest unemployment rate in the Middle East, Jordan, 23%. Palestinians right next to them also at 23%. Then you have Sudan, Libya, Tunisia, Lebanon, Iraq, Yemen, Afghanistan, Iran, Morocco, Syria, Turkey, Egypt, all above 10% unemployment, with the exception of your country of Egypt, 7%. Every single one of those countries, political upheaval, especially what's going on in Iraq, Afghanistan, Palestine. But did you notice that all the good countries, high unemployment rate, low unemployment rates? Qatar, 0.3%, one of the richest countries on earth. They just had the World Cup there. Richest country in the Middle East. Bahrain, 1.9%. Israel, 3.3%. UAE, 3.4%. By the way, the UK's unemployment rate is 3.5%. So UAE is better than the UK. Kuwait, 3.7%. Same as the US. When people don't have jobs and they don't have purpose and they don't have meaning and they can't work and they can't basically have political economic sustenance for their family, they're going to resort to violence. That's why every single one of those countries that is 10% unemployment, those countries are, as Trump says, shithole countries. But all the nice countries, Qatar, UAE, they're all thriving. So it's not an Islamic problem, it's an economic problem. Now, if you want to talk GDP, just for my last point, the countries with the lowest GDP per persons, those countries are disasters. Afghanistan, you know what the average person in Afghanistan makes a year? $350 a year, Afghanistan. Syria, $420. Yemen, $650. Sudan, $1,100. Morocco, $3,400. Palestinians, above any of those guys, $3,700 a year. Lebanon, $4,000. Egypt, $4,200. Conversely, every single rich country has zero problems. Qatar, GDP, $87,000. Better than the United States. Better than the United States. Israel, $55,000. UAE, $54,000. Kuwait, $40,000. I can go on and on and on here. The bottom line is this, what I've seen in the Middle East, it comes down to socioeconomics. Then you sprinkle in a little Islamism in there. Why is every rich country in the Middle East have no problems? But all the poor countries are suicide bombings, terrorists. Gaza had the opportunity to invest billions of dollars into infrastructure.
In what?
Into infrastructure.
How?
But they built tunnels and bombs. But my question is,
No. You're wrong.
Gaza has not built tunnels and bombs.
You're wrong. You said like as if there was like some sort of a prosperous source of economy, and all of Gaza said took that and put it on in tunnels. What you're missing here is Gaza since 2006 is under blockade, and even the medicine, even the water, even the electricity is controlled by Israel. They don't have.
I'm not asking you about Gaza. I'm asking you about the Middle East. To be clear, you want to focus on Gaza and then you want to turn it back on Israel. I'm asking you specifically.
I'm sorry. Let's not talk about Israel if that will make you a little bit nervous.
We can talk about Israel for the next 2 hours.
Other countries in the Arab world, so we can prove that Arabs could be bombed at any time because we're fucking poor.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
That's exactly what you're saying.
No,
it's like they're just like poor people killing each other, and we're just like there watching them.
No,
I'm sorry that, dude. I like you, but seriously, your undertone is fucking racist from the beginning until the end. You are looking at those people as lesser people who have made bad choices, and because they are poor, they are okay to be fucking bombed by Israel.
Okay, this is the third time you've used the racist word. I've never said that once about you.
Your undertone is very, very, very offensive. So
when I read stats,
yeah,
you don't like my tone when I read stats.
You read the stats basically telling people like, you see, because they're rich, they got this to themselves. The rich people are better. The poor people are okay. So we can have to kill them every now and then.
That's not what I said. And you're putting words in my mouth, and it's actually super disrespectful. I'm reading stats to you. I'm saying, how can we uplift the poor countries in the Middle East? How can we turn...
Remove the blockade. That's number one.
No. I said the Middle East, funny guy.
Remove the blockade.
I said the Middle East. You're talking about Gaza. I'm naming all these countries that are thriving. Qatar, Bahrain, UAE, Israel, Silicon Valley of the Middle East. What can be done with the countries that are quote unquote shitholes?
Okay, give me a country like a shithole. Give me an example.
I'm looking at the unemployment rates in all these countries.
Give me one country.
Afghanistan,
okay.
Syria,
Afghanistan.
Lebanon.
Why Afghanistan became a shithole country?
Because they endorsed the Taliban.
They did. They did.
Yeah.
Isn't that a little bit of a reductive way to tell history? Because at the beginning, there was no Taliban, and then the Soviet Union came in, and then America came in, supported the Taliban, make them bigger than they were, and then at the end of the day, they support. If you remember Rambo 3 was supporting the Taliban, so Taliban was really cool, and even they were even hailed by right-wing Christians as freedom fighters, anti-communists. And then what happened? America, some people like the Richard Wilson Wall wanted in to come in to put some schools. That no. We spend all of this money of tanks on weapons. We don't need to put them schools. What happened? Taliban flourished, all because of America interfered, made it shitty, left everything. Taliban flourished, and then America went in again, spent $2 billion, making it even, 2 terror laws made it even worse. So when you tell me like a country is not surviving, it's not because there are bad people there. No. You have to come into the root cause. Every single country that you said, I can bring you the root cause of how America and the West has fucked this country to become
Go
that
to
way.
Syria, go to Lebanon, go to there.
Yeah.
Bashar al-Assad, killing his own people, gassing his own people. Tell me, well, that's Americans' fault.
Who's he supported? Who was he supported by?
That's the whole problem in the Middle East.
Okay.
You have Sunni, you have Shiite, you've got Houthi rebels, you got
every single country in the Middle East.
It's a quagmire wrapped in a riddle,
Middle East,
and then surrounded by Islamic terrorists.
Every single Middle East.
Figure it out.
Bashar Hussein is not. You cannot really put Bashar Hussein as a Islamic terrorist thing,
Because he's fighting ISIS, which we're funding ISIS to fight against Bashar al-Assad.
Who's funding ISIS?
You tell me.
Qatar, who's actually funded by the United States. All right. So you don't understand. You see, this is how complicated.
I do understand how complicated it is.
People in the Middle East are either supported by Russia or supported by America, and they're fighting each other. So at the end of the day, you have people who have come to power because they have been supported by one of the superpower, and they're fighting against each other. Yeah. You have the Hamiditi, and you have the army in Sudan. Each one of them is supported by external powers. So it's not about like the Islamization of them. It's not about the economy is bad because at the end of the day, these are warlords who are fighting against each other. But to reduce that, why can't they just like make some money while you completely ignore the power of the international powers that are involved into that? Like, for example, the country like Mali. Mali is like very, very restless. And the reason Mali is restless is that Paris is there and it's putting up like some sort of a puppet president, so Paris can continue taking its share of gold and put it into its coffers. So it's much more complicated than just selling Islamization or non-Islamization. All of these power of play, you just gave me a Taliban and I give you the reason why America did that. Saddam Hussein, right? Saddam Hussein, he was the baby of the United States administration. And then he went on and he invaded Kuwait. Who gave him the money? Who gave him that kind of power? All right, it has been going on forever. The superpower are using the smaller countries, and they are controlling their own leaders in order to go fight each other. Because at the end of the day, it works for them.
No, I'm in full agreement with you that it's a mystery wrapped in a riddle, wrapped in a quagmire. What's going on in the Middle East, and I'm in full agreement with you that there are proxy wars all over the Middle East, no doubt. But the tip of the spear that's funding all the chaos. Pat has said that this is the year of chaos. The tip of the spear with the chaos is Iran. And who's funding Iran? China, Russia, they have a relationship. Azerbaijan, they have some sort of relationship. How do you deal with Iran? Because Iran's greatest export...
Let's bomb it.
We haven't done it yet.
No, let's bomb it.
I don't think we should bomb it.
I think we should.
Okay.
No, let's bomb it.
Then let's elect you for a government official, and you're no better than what's going on. You're no better than the ministers. So you're the Nikki Haley camp. Let's go for it.
That's the answer. Bomb Afghanistan, bomb Iraq, bomb Palestine, bomb Iran, and let's see what happens.
I speak sarcasm better than the next guy. I trust you. I know you're being sarcastic. But what do you do about a regime that is funding Houthis, Hamas, Hezbollah? They are the ones who are sowing discord. What do you do about Iran?
I remember like Colin Powell in the Security Council, like, let's bomb Iraq. And then they bombed Iraq. How is bombing Iraq done to this country?
It was a fucking disaster.
Oh, yeah, really? But it will not be a fucking disaster to bomb Iran, right?
I'm agreeing with you. I know that you're speaking sarcasm, so people don't watch.
You say like, oh, it's all about Iran. It starts like this.
Of course, it is all about Iran. Who's funding the Houthis? Who's funding Hezbollah? Who's funding Hamas?
Because 20 years ago,
billions of dollars they're giving to terrorist organizations.
Because 20 years ago,
and you just want to ignore that?
20 years ago, it was Iraq. And 20 years ago, it was Afghanistan, and they bombed them.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.